Paddy McGuinness is a very familiar face on our television screens, but before the shiny floors, he, of course, started out doing stand-up on stage.
He's had an 8-year break, but he's back flexing those stand-up muscles. He joins us now in the middle of his new tour, which is taking him all the way, by the way, Paddy McGuinness, to the London Palladium.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I'm very excited about that. I've not played Central London for about, I'd say, about 15 years. And the last time I was at the Palladium, I was actually interviewing Bruce Forsyth there. Yeah,
really?
About, like, the shows he'd done there over the years and everything else. And to be doing that place now, it's kind of like all the history, it's got all the people who've played there over the years. I'm really looking forward to that one, so I just wanted to talk about it, really.
So what's the new tour going to be like? And are you feeling a bit nervous? As Ben said, it's been like 8 years since you've been on tour.
Yeah,
it's nerve-wracking.
It is. It's weird, like, 8 years ago, none of us knew what a lateral flow test was, like 8 years ago. It's like the world's changed so much, which is actually quite good for doing stand-up because there's a lot of things to talk about. I wouldn't say it's a family show.
Oh, really?
But people are enjoying it, you know. So I remember sort of doing the warm-up nights and kind of thinking...
Sort of work-in-progress versions, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, not worried about what to say and what not to say, but kind of things, everything these days can be taken out of context and clickbait and everything else. And I kind of just thought, if I stress about that, I'll never get up on stage again. So I've done it, and it's honestly, it's been brilliant. I've just had a break for a month over Christmas and what have you.
Yeah.
And then we start off again. But a lot of the dates are down south now. So I'm in Cornwall in a couple of weeks, and then the Palladium in March, and all around sort of...
How'd you go down in Cornwall, Pat?
Always have a great night. Truro, brilliant audience. So it's weird because it's nerve-wracking, and every time, and even when I've done arenas and everything in the past, I always get that moment just before I go on stage where I think, I can't do it, I'm freaking out. But when you get on and you do your first 5 minutes and people start laughing, it's very seducing.
Yeah.
You know, your other half will tell you. It's a lovely feeling. Then you feel like...
King of the world.
Yeah, it's brilliant, this. But I've always been a person, as soon as I walk off, I forget it.
Yeah.
And just like, it's like, Mice Road Truckers on the telly.
I think it's one of the most terrifying... Like, hats off to you. It's like just you and a microphone and people sitting there going, go on, then make me laugh.
Yeah. I think, you know, if you can tap into things that everyone can relate to and sort of capitalise on that, you know, you're halfway there. But it's... I remember working at Orwich Leisure Centre in Bolton when I used to be a lifeguard. I always had the ability to make people laugh in the staff room.
Yeah.
And I had that at different places I worked. And it just watching Peter do it donkeys years ago at a little club in Manchester. And he finished and he said, I was going to get my wages. I think he got 40 quid at the time. And I remember thinking, God, I don't make that in a full shift at work. I thought, I'll give that a go.
Well,
and
purely because you saw him stand up and do a little bit of something, you thought, oh, wow.
Yeah, so I did
quite lucrative.
Yeah, I did. It was called the Newcastle Brown Ale Circuit, and it was like student unions around the country. I did Lancaster Uni, and the guy who was comparing it, when I finished, he said, that's Paddy McGuinness. He claims it's his first time. And I thought, oh, well, that's quite a nice compliment.
Yeah.
And I just went from there, really. But, yeah, it's a lovely feeling when you're up there and everyone's laughing. It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
What about that? Have you had gigs when you've died, Pat?
Never. Weirdly, I've had gigs, I've had corporate gigs like every stand-up does. I did one. In fact, I just realised I can't really tell the story properly. But it was at for Celtic.
For the football club?
Yeah, like this is about 17 years ago. And the two acts boots were me and Simple Minds.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I were on last. So I had to follow Simple Minds at Celtic. we're basically like gods up there.
Yes.
So, you know, they finished. Jim Kerr's got his foot up on the mic. Don't you forget. hey. Finish it. The crowd are going mad. And then the applause died down. The guy walked on stage, got on the mic. It was when feedback. He went, anyone in the mood for comedy? Silence.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Paddy McGuinness. That was the intro. I walked onto silence. walked off to silence. So that was like, well, that kind of happens because they're not there for you,
No.
you know what I mean? But it's, but yeah, usually...
So you've not got Simple Minds doing your warm-up here, then?
No, but they're the kind of things that make you, really.
One of the greatest places, though, where you got so much support was doing that. Was it 300 miles, the bike ride?
Oh, yeah, the
for
children in
chopper.
need. Yeah,
the
300
amount of
miles.
support you got from that for people coming out for you.
Honestly, Kat, it was one of the things like, you know, it was dubbed as a challenge. And I've said this before, it honestly wasn't a challenge, it was a privilege. Going out on that bike, starting off in Wrexham all the way up to Glasgow, going through all those communities, because you can put the news on these days or look at social media and pretty much there's a tsunami of negativity out there.
Sure.
And it feels as though that's all there is. But actually, it's not like that when you get out and about. And I went through so many communities and saw so many families and kids coming out and paintings, and then we raised £10.5 million. And it was one of them things that I'll never, ever forget that moment. If whoever's doing the next one, whoever's, you know, gets asked to do one of these things, I'd say embrace it and just go for it. Because the physical side and all that kind of pain and what have you goes.
Yeah.
It's such a lovely thing to be involved
Renews your
with.
faith in
Well
human
done.
nature as well, doesn't it? Like
Well
you say.
done.
Honestly, it is. It's amazing.
I was
It's
watching
amazing.
Inside the Factory last night.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
printing yesterday, Pad.
Yeah.
Which you were struggling to get your head around, how the printing works, the printing...
Fascinating. Do you know, doing that show, firstly, really small team, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you have that small team you work with and they're so good.
Yeah.
Cherry's
Cherry's gorgeous, isn't she?
Just amazing. It goes on a bit, but, you know, but I love her to bits. I've not met Ruth yet, but the maddest thing about doing Inside the Factory, I never knew this, you can't mention the name of what you're doing. It's a BBC thing.
Right.
Oh, I see.
So
So even though you were at the Warburton
So I was at Quavers.
Right.
I've got about, I'd hazard a guess, about 500,000 bags of Quavers in shop behind me. Don't mention Quavers. I'm like, what? That wall of yellow behind us with Quavers. And even at Warburton, you just had to refer to everything as bread, but you can't say, like, there's one coming up where I'm at
it's not
Jammy
even a
Dodgers.
crisp,
I've just got to
really.
call them jam-filled biscuits. Quavers were cheese-curled snacks.
Because you...
It's outrageous.
Very
But that Warburton's factory, you'd worked there many years ago.
Yeah. I worked there, and it was, you know, this is the thing about a lot of factories and places we visit, and it shows you how well they're looked after. Like, people stay there for decades.
Yeah.
There were people when I went back there who were working there when I was there, are still there. Because, you know, they do the job, they know the job, they get a wage, they get their holidays, they get the sick pay, they get everything else, and there's just a real sense of community there, especially at Warburton's in Bolton. Everyone's got a relative or a mate who's worked there, you know. That's how I ended up working there. So it's been lovely, but I'm fascinated by the machinery when I go in these places. Like, it's mind-blowing. The engineering, you go, who the hell has designed that?
Yeah,
It's amazing.
You know, but I really, really like that job. Honestly, it's a lovely team. Like I say, Cherry is amazing, and it's just a real nice treat to be involved with, really.
Well,
I love it.
It's a real nice treat to have you in the studio.
It's lovely. It's the first time I've seen you two together like this in the flesh. I watch you, obviously, with my critique of the game. But it's lovely. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.